Hey, it's New Brew Thursday!
Woo! We are here at Stone Brewing Company in Escondido. We're here for the 10-year
double bastard tapping. Double tapping. We're not mafia people.
We're here for the 10-year tapping of the Double Bastard Ale. We're here with Dr. Bill Sysak from Stone Brewing Company. He's like the food guy that pairs everything up with the beers.
So we're doing specific pairings that Bill has brought to us.
Yeah.
And
so
we're shooting on location, so we apologize.
Yeah, we have a live studio audience who doesn't care about us; they care about the beer.
Yeah.
So right on.
Which is what matters.
But Stone has opened their doors to us, and you know, first off, I want to say thank you for them opening up and
of course.
letting us come in here and take up some space and shoot an episode. But you know, personally for me, I got a fanboy thing going on here, and I'm very excited to be here.
Dude, how awesome is this place?
Seriously,
like, look at the background.
If you're anywhere within a 3 or 4 hour drive, you need to come down here, check this place out. I literally, like, my wife and I, we live about an hour and a half from here, and we're down here at least twice a month. And it's so worth the drive.
This is my first time. I foresee myself being here a lot more often.
Awesome. So you got everything. You got great slow food. You have great beer. You have a great environment to drink it in. It's rad.
I live about an hour away, and I'm here 5 days a week. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Exactly. So we got Bill today, and he's given us some food pairings, and we have crab cakes and the stinky cheese plate, and the barbecued beef.
No, wild boar ribs.
Wild boar ribs. Wow.
Wild boar ribs.
Okay.
And I think these will all pair nicely with the Double Bastard. So I'm Dr. Bill. That's what I'm known as for the last 30 years in the beer community. I'm not really the food guy. I'm the beer guy who knows a lot about beer and a lot about food and you name it. Anything decadent, that's kind of where I'm at. So anyways, but I'm the beverage supervisor and certified cicerone here at Stone Bistro and Gardens. So I'm kind of like do all the pairing events and whatnot. So today, the guys happened along on purpose to come out.
We would have been here anyway.
One of my San Diego Beer Week events, and this particular event is a 10-year vertical of Double Bastard Ale. That's our 10.5% American Strong Ale. It's got great malt, great hops. They're all classified. IBUs are classified, hops are classified. I could say maybe that there's hops, but I probably won't. Anyways, at least that's from what my palate is determined in them. Anyways, it's a great beer. I used to call this beer Arrogant Bastard Goes to a Bar, meets an amber ale, and they hook up late night, and that's kind of what you get. You get
this is their bastard child.
Yeah, bastard child. Nice. And it's really a nice blend of an amber ale, American amber ale, and a big Scotch ale. And you get this little bit of smokiness and hops and malt balance, and it's just a great big beer. And it's really enjoyable. So what I did was, one of the things that this goes really well with is wild game, but most meats anyways, pork and beef also. But so we have these fabulous wild boar ribs that Chef does. Everything here we do is local and sustainable. We're very big here at the bistro. Our founders started this mantra, and we have this thing about slow food. Sustainable, local, organic whenever possible. We're very big on doing that with our food, with our our soft drinks, our non-alcoholic beverages, all kinds of things like that. Beer and wine whenever we can find something that fits in, that follows that. So we're very big about just having great sustainable food.
Yeah, one of the things I really like is that you guys take your malts and your wort or the mash, and you give that to local farmers who in turn give you cheese from the happy drunk cows that eat your mash.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah, no, it's a nice marriage, and that happens a lot. You'll actually find, as we're celebrating San Diego Beer Week, you'll actually find that a lot of the craft brewers here have that same symbiotic relationship with the farmers, the produce, and they'll do that with their spent grains. They'll send them off for the cows and the pigs to eat, and it's just a really great relationship.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Really cool.
So today, like we said, we're here for it's the 10 years of Double Bastard. It's incredibly epic.
This is my favorite Stone beer.
Yeah, exactly. That's my thing with this one is Double Bastard's what got me into Stone.
Really?
Like the very first time I tried to, like, because I did double the Arrogant Bastard Ale, and my palate wasn't quite ready for it yet.
Okay.
But I did this, and because it's got that malt, that more malty flavor to it, and a lot more of the complexity, like I really loved this beer, and I totally turned me on to Stone. And after that, it was just, well, it was an affair to remember. So,
is anyone's palate ever really ready for Arrogant Bastard?
not the first time, I don't think. You got to work your way into that.
Well, you know, one of the things I always recommend, whether it's great beer, wine, spirits, even soft drinks, you should always follow my 3-sip rule. And the 3-sip rule is you should take a sip, swish it around vigorously in your mouth. That'll cleanse your palate from whatever you had earlier. Your cigarette, your dentine gum, your toothpaste, the food you had, or the previous beer. Then you should take some, put it in the front of your mouth, open your mouth, and pull air in over your palate. That'll open your palate. Hopefully you won't dribble down your shirt while you're doing that. And
depends on how many you've had first.
Exactly. And the third taste is your true taste of the beer, and that's where you're going to not get some shocking tartness or big hops or malt or alcohol. You're going to get what the beer actually can do for you, and that's how I recommend you guys try this beer and all beers, because it just really accentuates the tasting process.
Now, Bill, you're a certified cicerone.
Yes.
And what does that mean?
Think sommelier. Cicerone is a sommelier in the beer world. We are trained and tested in various aspects of the beer community, beer styles, beer pairings, brewing process. Also, we have to do blind tastings to find out whether the beer is stylistically true for what they're selecting. We need to find out whether there are faults in the beer and whether we serve the beer. There's also the whole draft system process and the proper serving of a great beer. Those are all major components in the Cicerone testing. There's 3 levels of Cicerones. There's for the Cicerone testing, there's a certified beer server exam, which is an online course you can take. And many people around the country are doing that. I'm in the process of having all my bartenders take that. Wow. The certified Cicerone is my title, and there are currently, I believe, about 60 around the country. And that is a 3-hour course. It's a test, I should say, 180 questions, the tasting portion, and a hands-on portion also. There are actually 2 certified Cicerones in Stone. Greg Cook, our founder, is also a certified Cicerone. He passed at the same time.
There's actually only 4 in California, right?
Well, there's probably a few more now because we've had a couple tests, but not that many. There's probably 4 on the website because Ray hasn't updated it. I'm not on there yet. But there's probably a dozen or so, but very limited. And the 3rd course level is the Master Cicerone, like a Master Song. And that he hasn't even done yet. So he's going to be, I think the first course is later this month, and I think that's going to take place in Chicago. And as soon as he gets that one under his belt, I'm going to have him come out here so I can be the first Master Cicerone in the state of California.
Wow,
that's huge, because you know that really makes for impressive beer tastings and beer pairings. Anytime Stone throws a beer pairing event, you need to be there because it's an experience. John and I did the lunch today. They had the AleSmith and Stone Brewers lunch.
Oh, that was so good.
And yeah, every course that came out was just like a new experience, and oh my God.
Yeah, that's one of my fortes is after doing this for so many years, my palate can just, you know, normally when there's pairings, the chef wants to know what kind of beer or wine you're serving, and then he says, oh, I'll tell you what kind of food I'm making. I just need to taste the food, and then I'll grab the right beer. So that's how it was. So I think we had a very successful Brewmasters lunch. I think everybody loved it. It was a great event. And
I was actually surprised the 09 with the cheese. I would have never have thought to do that. And you know, because I like that with the dark chocolate with a little bit of orange flavor to it. And but with the cheese was a really unique experience.
Yeah,
I like that.
Cheese was just awesome.
He's talking about our Stone's Vertical Epic 090909, which is a Belgian porter style, and it has a lot of dark malty characteristics and a lot of spice notes. and I actually paired it with a Rochefort Wissant seaweed cheese from the little town of Rochefort, where the Trappist monks of Rochefort are, and it's originally based off a recipe that they had done a century earlier. And I knew right away that it would pair really good with a very nicely spiced ale with a little bit of Belgian lean, so I think it was very successful.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
But we have food that's getting cold and beer that's getting warm. So let's crack this open. You brought the bottle opener, didn't you?
I did, but it's not.
It's in the bag, isn't it? Of course.
That's why I'm actually
That's
here.
right. Bill's like, well, I got a bottle opener, so I'll open mine and you can watch me drink.
Yeah, that was been smart if I was thinking that.
We're actually doing the 09 vintage because we like to do beers that everyone can get their hands on, and so we're not going to sit here and drink all the 10 years in front of you and say, "Ooh, look what we get and you don't." One of the things
do that later.
Yeah, later we'll be doing that for sure,
definitely.
but we won't put that on camera for you. But I love the glasses for the Double Bastard.
These glasses are so
not at all what you would imagine for such an amazing beer like this, an aggressive beer.
I can smell it. Oh my God.
It's a beautiful beer.
Yeah, it's got a lot of the hop that you expect from a Stone brew, and
But once you taste it, it's not
the
bad.
complexity of this beer for somebody that's not a hophead. The complexity of this beer and the malty flavors that come with it will balance that out in a way that if you really want to try a Stone beer, I always recommend this one first. And just because this one is so much more balanced and so well, the way it combines itself is awesome.
Well, I still think it's an extreme beer, but the hops are extreme, but the malt backbone is really extreme, and it blends really well, and there's minimal alcohol heat for such a big beer at 10.5%.
Yeah.
So cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers to San Diego Beer Week.
San Diego Beer Week.
And to Stone.
here.
Yeah, cheers.
Awesome. But yeah,
Oh my God.
exactly. I truly love this beer.
So good once it touches your lips.
It's nectar.
Yeah, this is
Nectar of the gods.
this is what beer is like. A couple weeks ago, we talked about drinkability on the show, and one of the things that the mass beer makers want to convince you of is that their beers are drinkable. And ultimately, the most drinkable beverage there is water.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get their beer as close to water without it actually being water.
But you consider it drunk.
This stuff, this is not drinkability. This is an experience. When you drink a craft brew, especially a Stone brew, in my opinion, you're engaging in an experience that you're not going to have 10 bottles of this. You're going to have a bottle. You're going to pair it. It's an experience. It's not a night to get drunk off of. Although, I'm not going to lie and say I've never gotten drunk off Double Bastard.
Tend to happen. There's a correlation there for some reason.
It's a wonderful side effect of drinking.
Yes, but this is really not about drinking as much as possible. This is about drinking in a way that, and eventually you do stop enjoying it, and that's when you know, like, it's time to quit.
So do you want to try this with some
let's dig in.
Great artisanal craft beer and great artisanal food are meant to be savored and enjoyed. Now, it's not to say you can't be doing that all night and enjoying these things, but there's no beer bongs or beer pong when it comes to craft beer. It's all about enjoyment, knowing what you're having, and as you guys so eloquently said, when you've had enough, know to stop, because guess what? This beer isn't like some of the other fizzy yellow beers that you see on your grocery store shelf. This beer will last, and if you take proper care of it, this will last many years, as the gentleman will get to see in a moment when they try the 10 years vertical of it.
Yeah, I actually have a few bottles of Juxtaposition and Kona coffee that I look at every day and think, I want to, but I'm going to wait. Go in, dig in. We're kind of close quarters here, so we're not going to, crawl all over each other. Yeah, I'm going to have to dig into this meat.
Going straight for the wild boar.
I promised that we'd never have a meat episode again, but
really?
I'm lying because this is too awesome not to eat. We had a hot wing episode actually for our Stone 13th episode. And watching it in post-production and seeing the three of us just ravenously destroy these hot wings as we drank the amazing 13th anniversary ale. It was like, wow, that's
It was kind of appropriate.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I recommended those hot wings.
You did, as a matter of fact.
He's not criticizing that, he's criticizing the manner in which they were devoured.
Yeah, it was just like, wow, that looks a little bit disgusting. But, which is another great thing about Dr. Bill. Oh, excuse me. Another great thing about Dr. Bill is he's very open and willing to help people with their pairings. You know, all of Stone is very active online. You have Stone Brewing Company. You have at Stone Kitchen, Stone_Kitchen, which is Alice. Alice is amazing. I love her.
Oh my God.
You have at Bistro Beer, which is Bill, Dr. Bill.
Oh man.
And even Greg, the CEO, is on there at Stone Greg.
Yep. Sorry. I totally talked over all that.
That's okay. This is.
Told you the ribs would work.
Those are. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the fact that they taste amazing, when you have the flavor of the ribs in your mouth and the beer passes through it, it opens up so many different flavors that you're never going to experience with just the ribs or just the beer. It's a whole new.
Were these ribs done with the double bastard?
No. But we did do for our 13th anniversary, we did a special 13th anniversary sauce, which was quite fabulous.
Okay.
Yes, it was. One of the things about Stone that I love is more than anything is their bistro. Like the World Gardens here are a phenomenal experience. I really think that if you're into craft brew at all, Stone has really been a leader in the movement and getting the movement started. And one of the things I've always appreciated about Stone is that they help out the other brewers. That, you know, there isn't the feeling of competition in the craft brew industry. There's a feeling of collaboration. We're all on the same team. We're all fighting against the same cause, and Stone really epitomizes that viewpoint.
Yeah, Greg and Steve, that's definitely one of their mantras is, you know, it's a brotherhood, sisterhood. We're all working together for the same thing, and that's it's for craft
I, for
beer.
one, bow to our Stone overlords.
It's for craft beer to be brought to the masses, and so there's a transitional period so everybody can try things and know that they don't just have to down a 12-pack of their local grocery store beer. They can go and find great beer. There's great full-flavored, low-alcohol beers that they can have when they're out doing yard work.
Yep.
There's beers like this that are perfect now or up at a ski lodge in front of a fireplace. I mean, there are so many great beers and things to offer.
And it's really exciting to try new beers to pair them. That dinner was like, or lunch I should say, was just like, oh my God. I've never had the Oak Arrogant Bastard. I love Arrogant Bastard. First time I had Oak Arrogant Bastard, and it was just, I think it was paired with the lamb.
Yeah.
Yes, I paired it with the lamb T-bone.
It was so good. I couldn't get over how good it was. And it was like exciting for me. I was sitting there like, oh my God. I thought, why am I not drinking this all the time? This is just great.
I wasn't fortunate enough to attend that lunch. But I actually did have the Oak Arrogant Bastard down here in this awesome garden. But I had it with the ceviche and kimchi. Probably not the best to pair it with, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, beers that are big, rich, and malty and amber, they're, like I said, they're great with meats and game, you know, venison, lamb, beef, pork. But you can always find things that work well in pairing. And you don't just have to do complementary pairings, you can do contrast pairings. And if you do something that's sharp and acidic, say, with a malty beer, then it may bring out the hops, the floralness of the hops that are in the beer. And it may showcase that over the malt. So there's definitely a lot of amazing pairings that you can do with all kinds of things. I've done pairings just since I've been here. Beer and sushi, beer and dessert, beer and breakfast, that was a big hit. All kinds of different amazing things. And we're going to be doing stuff like, I want to do beer and pork, snout to tail. That's going to be a winner.
That will definitely be a winner.
We're going to do a vegetarian and vegan and beer dinner. That'll be great.
That's a really good idea.
You need to bring Yvonne down for that.
Yeah. My God.
And we've got, Chef and I have a ton of ideas cooked up. So we'll start doing those every month and it'll be great.
Yeah, and I think, you know, ultimately the message for our show, and I think that Stone has is, you know, don't let a marketing director in some office decide what you should be drinking or convince you that you should be drinking something. Go out and explore a
Let
world.
us decide what you should be drinking.
Go out and explore a world of craft beer that's booming right now. We live like, I think the brewer from AleSmith said it perfectly. We live in a time now where craft brew is booming, and it's just we've never experienced something like this in the U.S.
It's almost like you're missing out if you don't try, because it's out there. And
you can get a bottle of this for a few bucks.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, it's worth the attempt. Try it out, you know. And and not all of you will be worthy of this. Understand that. Like, sorry, that's the way it is. But
that's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can find something else that fits what you like.
Right.
I had my first craft beer 34 years ago. And I wasn't quite 21, but I had my first craft beer thanks to my father. And in the process, I've had tens of thousands of different beers. And it's just amazing trying beers. I recommend you go down to your local liquor store, your larger chains like Bevmo, Whole Foods. You buy a mixed six-pack, and you take it home and invite 3 or 4 of your friends over and try those beers. And just do it, because we are living in the greatest time for beer in the history of beer itself.
Exactly.
And you know, there are so many amazing beers. When I first started out, there were a couple breweries in California, a couple breweries, you know, sprung up in the first 5-10 years on the East Coast there. Now you can go to any state in America and find amazing craft beer, and that is so awesome. And so, and the fact that we have beer brought in from other countries, literally thousands of different beers are brought in from all these different countries. Everything from Brazil, they do a champagne beer, to Belgium, to England, to Germany, you name it. Every country. Italy's doing amazing beers. They have 100 craft brewers. There's Japan, there's all kinds of places. So the fact that all these beers are available at our fingertips, I mean, this is the time to be a beer aficionado.
You gotta take advantage too.
Yeah, and you know that's really what you should take from this show, or really any of the beer podcasts out there that you might watch.
That's what our show is all about.
Right.
It's New Brew Thursday. Trying something new.
Yeah, just
if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
You guys do a great service introducing people to all these different beers. How many episodes have you done now?
I think this will be our 17th.
17th, and it's just
It's our third with the new crew.
it's just great because you give the people the opportunity to have a beer. Do they know in advance what beer you're going to do?
Yeah.
So they can go and find that beer.
It's interactive. You drink along.
Yeah, drink along. That's good.
Exactly.
Well, there's
I like
many
that.
times. I used to be a fan of. Well, I'm still a fan of the show. But before I came on the show, I would go out of my way to find out what they were trying because I didn't know what to try.
Right.
I would be in a liquor store and there'd be hundreds of beers, and it's like, okay,
It's overwhelming.
what am I
sometimes,
gonna?
Yeah.
It is.
So when it's like you get a little guidance from the show, and then you can not it's interactive and that's cool. And you drink along, but you hear their opinion and you match it up with your opinion, and you like it or you don't, and then you can say, look,
You know,
I like this beer.
something too is, you know, if you go into your liquor store and they don't have the beer you're looking for, talk to the manager. Spend a few minutes, ask for the manager, even make a phone call if you need to, because speaking to the manager, even at your local restaurant, whatever, if they don't have your beers on tap, talk to the manager, because when they get people that are asking for specific beers, they're going to put them on there because they know they're going to sell.
Yeah.
And telling your server or telling the cash register, they're not going to remember that you said that 5 minutes later. The manager is going to take note of that. He's going to be the one that, you know, or he or she is going to be the one that takes notice. So take that extra step, you know, and do what you can to build the craft beer industry. So
Yeah, I'm a big proponent about educating people. I've been doing it for years, thousands of people. Right now, I'm going to tell you, you can email me at bill.sysak, S-Y-S-A-K, at stonebrew.com. I mean, I get nothing from that but the joy of helping people. So you can email me and say, hey, do it from your phone.
And you're getting expert advice.
And I will be more than happy to help you, tell you where to go, what to get, wherever you are, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I had somebody the other day call me and they were sitting in an Italian piazza and they asked me about some Italian wine. And it happened to be 2 o'clock in the morning when they called me because they forgot the time difference. But you know what?
Oh, wow.
I helped them with their wine.
Got to do what you
Wow,
got.
yeah, that's awesome.
And beer is my passion. So if you guys ever have a question about beer, please feel free. These guys will hook you up with me, and you know. But there's so many people out there that are trained now at certain levels to do this. And exactly what you were saying. Ask the manager. Ask to talk to the distributor. They know. They get information. The liquor store manager can get the distributor to send him fact sheets on the beer.
Right. And most liquor store managers will have like a list of beers that they have available to them. Go through and check off the ones that you know you're going to come in and buy regularly. Yeah. Let them know, like, I'm going to buy this beer if you stock it, and they will. Like, I know my local liquor store, before we started the show, he had a few and whatever, and I started talking to him and got friendly with him. Grabbed his book one day and said this. Went through and marked about 10 or 15 of them. Every single one of them is in the store now.
Nice. Wow.
And so that's what you got to do. You got to take that extra time, and that's going to benefit you, because then you have a place that you can go to get good beer. You know.
You guys can all be advocates for craft beer by doing that.
Right. By
promoting the beers and following through and trying beers and drinking responsibly. But get together with your friends. Have designated drivers and sample a bunch of different beers. There's nothing like it to sit there and try a dozen different beers that you've never had and discuss them and figure out. And I guarantee you're going to find something you love.
And you know what? And do your own New Brew Thursday. Get your friends together, try a new beer out. This show started out as me and a couple of my buddies who were both Coors Light drinkers, and I used every Thursday night I'd bring them a new beer to try out. And it just kind of developed into a show, and it's awesome. And you know, and this has probably been like the most epic show we've ever done.
Yeah.
So we say again, thank you very much to Stone. Thanks for Dr. Bill to sit in and give us some pairing advices. Cheers. Stay safe and drink beer.
Cheers.